What's going on? Welcome to this Key of A jam track. This jam track has some type 2 chords in it. Type 2 chords, type 2 and 3. Type 2 chords are common shapes that sound colorful, they sound cool, and they're common enough and they're easy enough to learn early enough on in your learning experience. And you can add them to your songs and to whatever you're playing, and it's easy enough to play, but it's colorful. So this chord progression sounds fancy, sounds difficult. When you say the names, or you look at the names, you go, what in the world? But the chords are easy enough to play. So the first chord is the Aadd9. The second chord is the Dadd9. The next chord is super fancy. It's F sharp minor with a 7 and with a 4 note. And the last chord is just plain old E major. Let's talk real quick about where the numbers come from. But there's other videos that I've done where I talk more about the numbers, because the numbers are really cool once you learn what they mean. Aadd9. Real quick, again, this is a quick explanation. So if some of it goes over your head, it's fine. I'm going to always be explaining this stuff, and eventually it sinks in more. So the numbers come from adding from that chord you're on to whatever note you're trying to add to a chord. A naturally has an A note, a C sharp note, and an E note in it. It's called a 1-3-5. If we go up the alphabet, A, B, C, A has a C sharp in it, but it's a C, skip the D, and an E note. A's, C sharps, and E notes. So anytime you go outside of those 1-3-5 notes of a chord, in this case A's, C sharps, and E's, you need to give it a name, give it a number. Let's say we wanted to add a D note to our A chord. That would be a A4, okay? The name we give to adding a 4 note to our chords is called a sus4. So if you ever see just a sus or a sus4, that means play that chord and add from there, call it 1, 2, 3, and whatever note you land on here, that's the note they want you to add to your chord. That's the note in the higher range, not a low note. So how do we get all the way to 9? Gosh. All right, we'll consider this. An oct 8, is itself just one time all the way higher. So an A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a 9 is a 2. What? Yeah. So if you ever see an Aadd9, think about what chord you need. In this case, A9. Go to that next letter, which is a 2, and you've got your 9. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. What? Yeah, seriously? Yup. What? For real. So, what's A's 2 note, or 9? A's 2 note is a B note. Well, where can we find a high B note that's easy enough to play? Well, we've got a B string right here, the 5th string down. So instead of clamping there all the way here, I'm going to let that go. Da, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoa, that was crazy. So that's it, Aadd9. It has a B note in it. In this case, an open B note. So real quick, what's D? The next chord we need is a Dadd9. What's D's 9 note? D. What's after D in the alphabet? Good, E, right? So we need to add an E note to our D chord. Naturally, D is like this. We have an open E string on the very high E string. So when I lift that note down here from a natural D major chord, it reveals an open E string. So now we have a D chord with an E note in it, a 9 note in it. So our chords are Aadd9 to Dadd9 to F sharp minor 7 with a 4 in it. I don't want to get too much into this chord, but this is how you play it. From an Aadd9, by the way, you can play it with whatever two fingers you want. In this case, I like to play it actually with these two fingers, and I just clamp the second finger on top, muting my A string by touching it. That's what it sounds like. So we're going A, Add9, to D Add9, F sharp minor, to E. Like that. Ready? Now, again, back up, pause it, work on the chords, come back in a week, come back in a month, whatever you need to do. But figure it out, work on it. So here we go, I'm jumping in, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, A. To D Add9. So as you play more, you'll figure out different ways of transitioning the chords. What I'll say is always look for and practice the simplest transitions you can. You want to try to avoid as much as possible doing things like that. One trick that I always say is pick one finger that knows what to do and let that one go where it's supposed to go, and at least get that one there. And you can do that for any chord transition. Pick one finger that knows what to do. I was transitioning going different routes each time. One time, I've got these two fingers stacked for the A9, but I'm thinking about my D Add9. That doesn't have to go anywhere. That's in the D Add9 chord. Okay, so it's just a matter of switching out two fingers. Practice that transition. Okay, you can do the F sharp minor different ways, right? If you go this route with the pinky and the third finger and the middle finger on top, going to E, this is the say the pivot finger between the E and the F sharp minor 7 with a 4. Okay, it doesn't have to move. Now I'm going from E back to Aadd9. I can just take these two off and pinky goes down. Again, that gets to stay where it is. Always take time to think about that and train your mind and your fingers to look for the simplest option. Thank you so much for watching that jam track video. Back it up, do it again, work on it, come back in a week, in a month, whatever you need to do. Go to InsideOutOnline.com if you haven't already. Download the free guidebook. It's there for you. Take it. I'll see you on the next video.